So this is I'm 2 for 1. Uh, Remember to like and subscribe and comment if you want. Um, Today I'm gonna talk about how, you know, how privileged do you have to be to complain about not getting a trained bathroom? I mean, we used to complain about real stuff, racism. People talk about how Obama has made racism more segregated as before. I was like, man, yeah, right. So you're saying that when we had colored bathrooms, whites only bathrooms, you, no Mexicans go in there, Chinese couldn't go in there, Japan couldn't go in there. So you're saying we're more worse off now? I don't think so. No, we're more privileged now. See, the problem is, like, we have it so good that we don't even know. We have no idea how bad it used to be. I mean, our values, I would say 50 years ago, our values were way better, even during racism, during Jim Crow and all of that. Our values were better. See, there's always pros and cons. Like, I would say back then, we had better values. People were way more mature at an early age, and they had men and women had more skills. Like, women can cook, they could clean, they can raise children. They were stronger. They didn't have to be talking about how strong they are all day. Because now, see, you have women they have to say that they're strong. How many Chinese women do you know saying I'm a strong woman? They never say that. So if you gotta say that you're strong, then you're not strong. If you're saying that you're fearless, then you're not fearless. I mean, a person that's living in no career is not walking around talking about you're a strong woman. It's only us that are talking about we strong women and strong men. It's like, so we were more responsible, more mature, our values were way better, but there was still a lot of problems. I mean, you had whites only bathrooms, you had restaurants that say no Irish. Even though I know they were racist towards white people too. Anyway, so when you go out in the street and used to protest, they would sick dogs on you, they would spray you with hoses, they would hang you. I mean, the cops were like openly racist. They ain't had no problem beating you up or shooting you. I mean, now it's like an isolated incident if a cop shoots a black person. But then they used to actually openly do it. I mean, they used to have, we don't know, the reason why they call it a picnic is because they used to pick they used to pick a black person and then they would hang them. And they would all stand around and celebrate. So, on one hand, our values were better, our families were more intact, but racism was way harsher. See, now, like, our values are kind of messed up. The family is pretty messed up. It takes longer to be mature now. Like, back in the day, you would mature about 17. It didn't take that long. Women were already being taught to take care of babies at a really young age. You had girls that were like 8 years old, and they already knew how to take care of a child. But not now. You got to be like almost 30 for a woman to know how to take care of a child. You have men that are 30 years old, 35 years old, and they still ain't mature yet. So men were taught really early, about 12 or 13, to be mature and know how to take care of women. And then a girl was early as 8, was already knowing how to take care of a child, take care of a baby. So, yeah, our hormones and maturity is all jacked up. Our values is messed up. Our family's messed up. So the stuff we're complaining about is some ridiculous, idiotic stuff. I mean, we're complaining about, like, not being called the right gender. Like, what the hell? If you look like a man, and you're a woman, I'm not calling you no man. If you look like a woman and you're actually a man, I'm not calling you no woman. if you're biologically a female, I'm calling you female or woman or girl or whatever. But I ain't that stupid. And we already know, like, pretending that you're a woman, pretending you're a man, is not making that person more happy. I mean, I already have evidence, enough evidence, even within my own family, to know that making these people pretend that they women or men is not helping them at all. So we got a bunch of weak people walking around, totally sensitive about every little thing, like not getting a trans bathroom. Like, what is that? Why? It's like you're like 1% of the population, and you talking about you need a bathroom. Like, go to your own bathroom. Like, what's your problem? I don't get it. It's so dumb. And like, people don't think about that pronoun thing is stupid too. If you don't know a thing about how pronouns should be used, you can use an adjective too. So if I need to call you a certain pronoun like he or she, I can also use an adjective. So if you want to be called he or she, I can call you an idiot. I can call you stupid. I can call you racist. I can call you dumb. I can call you a dumb he, a dumb she, a idiotic he, idiotic she, a stupid, I can use an adjective with your pronoun. So, yeah, if you want to be called a he, I can call you a stupid he. If you want to be called a him, or her, or a woman, or a man, I can call you a stupid woman. Now, we don't need women that want to be men, or say crappy versions of men, because they might look like a man, but if I punch them in the face, they're gonna fall down just like a girl would. There was an instance, I don't know if I said it already, but there was this instant where Antifa was like, I think it was like after Trump won, or was the inauguration or something, and they was like, I don't know if it was 4 of them, but they were like blocking like the sidewalk. And there was this, I think it was cops on the side somewhere. I think it was some type of protest. And they were allowing them to do it. And, usually what happened, they were allowing them to protest until it gets violent. So there was this guy basically yelling at him, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'm trying to get to work. I'm trying to you're stopping people from getting to work and, going about their business. And they were just blocking away. And it was like this girl that was like in the group too. I think it was one. And she was like one of them tomboys. And one of the guys said, why don't you let the woman through? And he was like, okay. And then they let the woman through, but the guy, he went on like after the girl, and then they pushed her, because they were really trying to push him, but they ended up pushing her. And then the guy just went off like, what are you doing, man? It's like, what's wrong with you? And then the girl like punched the guy in the face, and then he punched her back and just knocked her out. Like she fell to the ground. And then all of a sudden, here we are, these Antifa saying that men and women are equal. He says, that's a woman, you shouldn't hit a woman. So all of a sudden, see, they spout this like women are the same stuff, and then all of a sudden something bad happens, then all of a sudden they spout, oh no, that's a woman, you can't hit a woman. It's like, what? I thought we're equal. So he hits the guy. No, he hits the guy hits her back, knocks her down. They all yell out. And then also Antifa are also anti-cop. As soon as that happened, they call over the cop. The cops say, you should protect us. I'm like, what? I thought you were the police. I thought you were policing your laws and your rules. And now you want the help for the police now? Anyway, I'm going to get back to that. So they yell out, she's a woman. They yell out, cops, you need to protect us. All the stuff they're against. Being women and men are equal. They're anti-cops. They're the first to call the cops. And first they yell out, she's a woman. And the guy says, she don't look like a woman to me. So women that are trying to be men, they don't understand. If you say you're a man, and if people don't know that you're a woman, they're gonna treat you like a man. See, a man hitting another man, that's normal. That's people are okay with that. A man hitting another man, they're okay with that. But they're not. We're still not okay with men hitting women. But if women start to see in their little fantasy world, women looking like men is normal because they're probably around a bunch of weak men anyway. So that little fantasy world that they're living in, it's okay for women to look like men. But when they go out into the world and have to deal with actual men, then their fantasy world usually cracks. It doesn't last that long. So that's why as soon as he hit the woman, because it didn't look like a woman, it looked like a man. As soon as he hit the woman, she realized that she was a woman. She realized she wasn't actually a man. So it's like we're hurting these people. These people are pretending to be men, but as soon as they get hit by a man, they realize they're not a man because they realize that men are stronger than women. So we're actually hurting. And at least know this, and people at the top know this. They know this thing, that you got a bunch of crappy women walking around pretending to be men. As soon as they get hit, you realize that they're not actually equal to men. They're not the same as men. A lot of times, men, because we don't actually want to hurt the woman, we withdraw some of our strength. So like Goku hiding his power level. We'll hide some of our power levels because we don't actually want to hit the woman. We just want to check her, make sure, we just want to let her know, yeah, don't mess with me because I can knock you out. So I'll just kind of tap you a little bit to let you know that, yeah, don't put your hands on me. And I've seen women get all in your face, get all in the man's face, yeah, hit me. And then as soon as they hit the girl she's like, hey, what are you doing? Why'd you hit me? It's like, well, come on, man. So you instigate the fight, you say you're strong as a man, and then as soon as you get hit, now all of a sudden you're a woman now. So all this does is create more division, more chaos. And now on the other spectrum, you got men pretending to be women. And the problem with that is they can do certain things. They can rile men up and they can say, you can't hit me because I'm a woman. But you're going to mess with that wrong. See, in your fantasy world, you're probably messing with a lot of guys and you're probably saying that you can't hit me because I'm a woman, identify as a woman or something. But in the real world, it's not going to happen. It's not going to work. So they're bringing their little fantasy world into the real world, into the actual reality, and they're realizing it doesn't work. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to change the rules. They're trying to get you to normalize all this stuff. Change the rules so if a man that's pretending to be a woman, he can get away with certain things because he identifies as a woman. And at the same time, women that are pretending to be men, they can get away with certain privileges as a man, but at the same time still physically being like a woman. And we're already noticing this already with men pretending to be women and they're joining sports, and they're actually dominating. There was a trans female UFC fighter that actually caused a concussion to a woman fighter, in one of his fights, because he identifies as a woman, but he physically is still a man. He still got chromosomes as a man. He's still physically strong. So he knocked her out, and he caused a concussion. So even though he looks like a woman, so what's going on is you got men that are not as strong, not as good as the other men, so they'll pretend to be women so they can get into the women's league and dominate. And that happened. Another one was there was a trans bicycle racer, and it was a I don't even think he even looked like a woman. I think he just wore pink. I think he just said he identifies as a woman, and he was able to join the women's bicycle league, and he won. He got first place. So, uh, so what's happening is that we're basically finding out that women and men are not the same, and that's actually good. You shouldn't be focusing on women. Shouldn't be focusing on trying to be crappy men, because you're not going to be good as men. I don't even understand what you're even doing. You should be focused on trying to be better women, and men too. And pretending that they're women and men and all that stuff, it's not helping. Because as soon as a woman gets punched in the face by a man, she's gonna realize she ain't no man. And then as soon as a woman that's pretending, a man that's pretending to be a woman, he punches a girl, we're gonna realize that he's still a man. Because we're kind of okay with women hitting other women, because we know that we think that they're soft and they're really not hurting each other. And see, a lot of people know a lot of these people, they come from colleges and schools, mostly like suburban or upper class schools, where, I mean, when I went to high school, I lived in the suburbs, and when a fight would break out, it would end pretty fast. You hit me and then I hit you. You get one good punch in. It's mostly, you're just wrestling or whatever, and then you might get a good punch in. But eventually, somebody would, like your friends will break it up, or the teacher will break it up. Like eventually, it will get broken up. Not in black schools though. Black schools, well, even black schools, you get a couple punches in, and then eventually somebody will break it up. Not now. Fights be going on for like 30 minutes because they be hitting each other. The teacher steps in, they hit the teacher. The security guard steps in, they hit the security guard. I mean, fights don't stop now. They be going on for like 30 minutes and stuff. So society's different now. Well, in the black community, society is different. The fights be going on for 30 minutes. In the white community, I think it's still about the same. Like if you start a fight, eventually somebody's going to stop it. So here you got these kids. If you look at these protesters, they're like, I would say 90% white. If you look at, people talk about when Black Lives Matter was blocking the road. People didn't know those were all white people. Well, anyway, they said Black Lives Matter was like 80% white anyway. So how you gonna have Black Lives Matter in your movement 80% white? But anyway, that's black people. They stupid. They always get taken over and they don't do nothing about it because I guess they can't do much about it because they got too many problems. They say you can have it now. We don't worry. We don't even care no more. So if you look at most of these protests, it's a bunch of, you can see there are a bunch of rich kids, a bunch of spoiled brats, weak people. Because you can tell they beat up on women, they beat up on like old people, they beat up on most the weakest person in the room, and then when they take on a big guy, they back down real fast. They call the cops like real fast. That's how you can tell how weak they are, because they'll beat up on a woman, they'll beat up on an old man, but when it's a big guy, they have to tag team. It has to be 5 of them. And then when they get thrown to the ground by the police, all of a sudden they, it's like, what you doing? They start crying and everything. That's how, when I was seeing those protests, how fast they would cave, that's when I knew these are suburb kids. These are upper class kids. These are a bunch of punks. These are women that think they men, and once you punch them, you realize that they ain't no man. So here's the thing: is that Um, Here's a problem. It's like, do you really want these people fighting for you? We already know they're weak. They don't know anything, and how fast they shut down and cave in. I mean, when the immigrants come in, this war's gonna suck, man. They're gonna be the first to go. Um, but anyway, so the reason why you have, because what you have is, you basically have a bunch of old, immature people. They're like 20, 25, 30, and they're totally immature, and they're totally weak. And a lot of people don't understand is that at a certain age, you're going to have to grow up. You're going to have to start taking responsibilities. So right now you have a bunch of 20 to 30-year-olds who are a bunch of babies. And they want to be coddled, and they want special privileges. Because they're already rich, but at the same time, they're really actually depressed. And they don't really have a real identity. So they need to latch on. That's why they want to be called 50 different genders and all this crap. And they want to be called feminists, and they want to be non-binary and all the dumb stuff. They want to be given all these titles because they're rich. They didn't go to school for the right reasons. And they're living in a bubble. They're living in a fantasy world. And they don't really have a real identity. So they have to kind of make up one. And they're weak, and they don't know how to fight. They don't have any skills. They have a lot of knowledge, but all the wrong knowledge. If you don't know how to fix no toilet, not how to fix no tire. I mean, I know how to fix a tire. I know exactly what to do. You get one of those crank things, and you have to lift up the car, and then you get one of those. Looks like a cross thing. I forgot what it's called. And then you take off the hubcap, and then you take off the nuts, and then you take off the tire, and then you put on a new tire. So I know how to do it, but most people don't even know that. So we used to have real skills. That's why you didn't really need that much money, and you didn't need to call people all the time, because people knew how to do things. Women knew how to cook, how to take care of their kids, and most time women are at home anyway. And if they did have a maid's job, they would take their kids with them. Or kids were more mature anyway, so they could take care of the other kids. Not anymore. Kids are not being taught correctly, because men are actually the ones who are supposed to take care of the kid. At about 8 years old, the man needs to take over and start teaching the child how to handle their emotions better, and how to diffuse situations. Because the man is supposed to be the one that teaches the child to think before you do something. Like, okay, the guy made you mad. Okay, stop and think, and then make a decision, make a good decision. Try to make the best decision as you can. See, when fights would break out, it was usually the men that would break up the fight. So if you know, like I said, if you know anything about white schools, if a fight will break out, eventually a man or authority figure will come along and break up the fight. So fights didn't really go on that long. So yeah. So you can tell that these kids, these protesters, they're from these communities. So when they get in a cop's face, or they yelling at a person, yelling at a man, or spitting on a person, they think that the person's not going to do nothing. You see, in their society, if a woman is yelling at you or saying something crazy, or trying to instigate a fight with a man, the man would just sit there and take it. He just taught to just take it. Ain't gonna do nothing. That's in their societies. But when they come out into the real societies, that's not what happens. They get punched in the face. And they're not expecting that. They're like, whoa, you're not supposed to punch me. Because in their fantasy world, in their societies, a man is just supposed to take it. He'll just sit there and let the woman slap him and everything. And he won't do nothing. because he's strong. He knows if I hit her, fight's over. So, but when you're messing with the wrong man, who's living in the real world and the other world, he will hit you. And the same thing as women, men pretending to be women. If you look like a woman and you hit a man, or you hit a woman outside of your fantasy world, it ain't gonna look right. And if you look like a woman and you hit a man, he gonna hit you back. He ain't gonna think you a woman after that. So, whoa, I think that's a man. Okay, bam. He's saying. So I think that a lot of these people, these protesters and whatnot, I think that they're trying to get more privileges. They want to be able to be rich and also and act like they're the normal person. They're a normal man, a normal woman, normal man. They want to get both privileges of being a rich and also being like a regular person. So they pretend that they care about immigration. They pretend they care about Black Lives Matter. They pretend they care about feminism. They don't care about that stuff. They're just trying to get more privileges. Because if a woman can pretend to be a man, she can get the privileges of being a man. She can get in a guy's face and say whatever he wants. And as long as you kind of think it's a woman, you won't hit her. And the same thing as a man trying to be a woman. That guy knows that if you think it's a woman, then you might not treat her the same way if you thought it was a man. So they're just trying to get more privileges. The problem is it's not actually going to work. But that's not a problem. It's only a problem for them. It's not actually going to work. Another problem is if we continue this path of not having enough kids, because if you know anything about what's going on, is that in Germany and Sweden, they're openly saying that because nobody's having kids, they're bringing in immigrants to increase the population. So if you're not having enough kids, they'll bring in the immigrants. The good thing is Trump is in here, and these people are so dumb. They don't know that Trump just saved you. The fact that Trump is in here, he just saved us from a migrant crisis, where because we're not having enough kids, immigrants will be coming in here, increasing the population and repopulating the country. And I don't know, maybe, I don't know, maybe they're trying to destroy society. I don't know. But they don't know they're going to be destroyed too. Because a lot of times, like I said, like the reason why they're so okay with the immigration is that they know the immigrants are not coming to their community, because they live in gated communities anyway. So they know the immigrants ain't coming to where they're at. So that's why they're like, yeah, immigration, yeah, that's awesome. But they know it's not coming to where they at. So yeah, that's why they acting like it's all good, because it ain't going to where they're at. But yeah, if you don't want the government to be powerful, then stop giving it power. That's all you gotta do. If you don't want the government to be powerful, stop giving it power. And you ain't gotta worry about what the government's gonna do, because they can't do anything because they're not powerful enough. And yeah, I think we should focus on what we actually need to do. People need to stop focusing on like little things, because there's so many problems in the world that we need to be focusing on. The oppression of women in these countries is crazy. I mean, I was looking at these pictures in 1960s Iran, and the women didn't even wear hijabs. You would have thought it was America. They were dressing like they wanted to dress. You know, they had advertising and commercials and everything, and the women would dress sexy or whatever, and they look happy to me. Yeah, they didn't even wear hijabs yet. And Iran, because people talk about how Iran at one point was pretty awesome, and then when Islamic rule took over, it was over after that. It got all messed up. I don't know when that happened. I think it was like the 80s or something. Yeah, when that came in, it was over. And the women fought too. They fought to make sure the hijab wasn't going to come, but it was the only reason that was people that was fighting it was the women themselves. I don't think the men were fighting with them. I think it was just the women. I think that's why they lost. Is that the women and men didn't come together. It was just the women fighting for the removal of the hijab. So it didn't work out. So yeah, we need to come together. We need to stop this bickering and this pretending that women are men and men are women. It's not working. We need to stop doing that. We need to treat the women. If women think they're men, we gotta refuse. We gotta refuse that. We can't let them. We can't pretend with them. We have to get the women to know that they're women, and the men to know that they're men. If you're a man trying to be a woman, I'm not gonna pretend you're a woman. You are a man, and you need to be a man. If you're a woman pretending to be a man, I'm not gonna pretend that you're a man. I'm a know you're a woman. You're a woman in the reality. You know, and pretending that you're a man and all that stuff is not gonna work with me. And same thing as immigration and stuff like that. If you say you're for immigration, then how many immigrants do you have in your house? You don't have any? Okay, I know you don't care about them then. If you say you care about black lives, how many black people live in your neighborhood? Okay, it's like 5%, 1%. Okay, you don't care then. You care about Mexicans. How many live in your neighborhood? None? Okay, you don't care then. If you're a woman, you're a feminist, and you say you care about women, how many women have you helped from being oppressed in one of these oppressive countries? You didn't do that? Okay, you ain't no feminist, and you don't have no respect for me. I don't have to give you no type of respect if you didn't earn it. If you're a man and you haven't helped another man from stop being persecuted, then I have no respect for you. And you ain't got to respect it. So work on being better. Stop pretending that you're a woman and a man and a child and 5 years old and all that dumb stuff. And be better. I'm not going to pretend you're a man. I'm not going to pretend you're a woman. I'm not going to pretend you're 5 years old. I don't care. If you look like a woman and you're biologically a woman, you're a woman. I'm not using your pronouns. I'm not using your 50 genders. I could care less about that. And that doesn't help you, and it doesn't help me. It doesn't help society. It doesn't help the world. We need to wake up. But if you already wake, then you don't need to wake up. You know, this woke stuff is dumb, man. Anyway, so work on yourself. Don't pretend with these people. Let them know that this is a reality, and making them and humoring them and all that stuff is not working. It ain't gonna work. It never did. There's stuff about being the same. We don't need to be the same. We just need to be better. So women should be women, men should be men. All right, peace out.